and I've known Les for many years, at least 20 years. When we were going down every year to the Miracle Tent, Les was the first person to greet anyone who drove onto the property because he was the car park manager. And he would direct every car to their place in the paddock. And he was very cheerful and he loved that job. He did it every year. He got a car. And he used that car. He said, it's for the Lord. I want to use this car for the Lord. So he would pick up Andrew and he'd pick up Trevor and pick up Bill for years and dragged them up here on a Tuesday morning. So he'd been a servant of the Lord. And he wanted to go home. I don't think he quite knew which home he was going to. You know, the reading that Andrew read says, in my Father's house are many mansions. And the Lord knew that he was homeless. He didn't have a home. But he's gone home all right. He went home to the mansion in the sky, so to speak. So does anyone else like to say a few words about Les? His sons would love to hear it. Speak up though, because there's a mic.
Well, my name's David. I've known Les for a fair while as well, and I'm also a horticulturalist, so we used to have some pretty good discussions, and he taught me so much about roses. He was I won't say a master rose grower, but he was very, very good at it. So it was a bit of a shock to everybody, but he was such a loved guy, and as you're saying, such a servant.
Yeah.
Such a servant's heart, it was amazing. Yeah, good friend.
Well, I guess building on that from Dave, ties into kind of Les' more modern, later area of his life. I've known him for quite some time too, but about 2-3 years ago he come on board as a volunteer with SOS Limited, which is currently, does kind of like a food bank outlet serving the poor. And Les faithfully put in there, above and beyond, like he used to do almost the whole Wednesday. He used to do a Thursday afternoon. He used to do the run down to Brisbane, which Andrew's now kicked in. And, even Les going to Adelaide, he was running around everywhere to see where he could find another volunteer for SOS to do that thing. That was largest on his mind. As he was packing, he's running around saying, hey, can I find a person for these guys? And then he found Andrew, and like the conversations with my son and him in the car were something else. He really opened up, so much to the fact that when Sam bought a property in Bundaberg, Les used to volunteer his time to go up and help Sam mow the lawn. He did that on four different occasions, which is no mean feat. Les was a great helper, all the time helping, and I think I like to just acknowledge his servant's heart and what he did, because if we were to add those volunteer hours up, man, that would be just you just wouldn't be able to eat that. It was a lot, but it's not that. It's the fact that he spoke to people that were homeless, and we're seeing an increasing amount of that, and he was able to get beside them and say, hey, it ain't all that, that let's look at this and let's look at that. So he was really positive to those people. So for that, Les, we salute you and thank you.
Absolutely.
He was down with me at the Waterfront Hotel in the bungalow. I could tell he was going home for permanency. There was something, going to happen. But I sort of tried to keep the keys. I didn't want him to go. And even when he was leaving, it was long. I just felt it here. But he's gone to be with God. It's true. I thank the Lord for the memories. I'll treasure him always as my older brother.
Sam wrote to me yesterday and said, he was like a father to me. So, everyone that's worked with him, and Bev Rashington said, he was so good to Trevor,
Yes.
and she was not going to tell Trevor because she didn't want to upset Trevor anymore.
Good.
So, yeah, he's going to be missed in a very big way.
Only time I met Les usually was at this table, and I enjoyed his company while he was here.
Yep.
If Les had an opinion about something,
Tell you.
there's no doubt about it. And there's a few little bits of sparks flying a few times because of his opinion. But he was a good bloke. He was a good bloke, no doubt about it. And, I enjoyed his company and I'll miss him. I actually, when I heard about it, I thought, oh, this is the worst news you could get. I just wasn't expecting it.
It's a shock.
And I actually thought to myself, when he was leaving, I thought he'll be back again. He'll be back again. You can't just leave Queensland like that and not want to come back again, you know. So I thought he'll be back again on the block. Yes, I suppose you can, yeah.
Not for a while.
But no, I'll miss him personally, and I thought he was a really, really good, decent bloke.
Yeah.
He always carried his Bible in his phone. If ever wanted to get a scripture, I just say to Les, he'd say, what translation would you like? And up we come with it. So it was really good like that.
It's funny you're talking about Birdsville. I spoke to him at least 6 times when he was in Birdsville, and he said to me, "Guess what's in Birdsville?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "Nothing." And I said, "What do you mean nothing?" He said, "There's not a shop, there's not a bank, there's not a post office, there's a pub, and there's a caravan park." And he said, and the woman in the caravan park said to me, "If you leave and you get bogged, I will come and get you. It could take 3 or 4 days, and it will cost you really a lot of money." I went, "Okay, I won't go anywhere." That was his I don't know that he really enjoyed his time in Birdsville.
No,
I don't think. He didn't mind it, but it wasn't his favourite thing to do.
It'd be a terrible place.
Following on, John, and I'll do a quote here of Les, which is, "I don't mean to offend you, and with all due respect, you're wrong."
Yes.
That's a nice way of putting it.